Everybody. This is the second part of Introduction to Chromatography. In the first part, we have seen what is chromatography, the history of chromatography, the classification of chromatographic methods, the elution process, what is a chromatogram, and finally we saw what are the factors which affect a chromatographic separation. If you have not seen the first video, you please go and watch that before you see this part. Now, in the earlier part, we have seen that for separation, you require a column which has got a stationary phase, and you require a mobile phase, and the sample which you want to separate, you have to introduce into the column and elute the sample through the column. Now we have seen in the earlier part that the factors which are responsible for proper separation of the sample components of a mixture, they are the migration rates of the solutes and the zone broadening. Now we have seen that zone broadening happens when the mixture components pass through the column and each component forms a band on the column, and as the component travels down the column, the band separates, the bands widen, and you get what is called as zone broadening. The zone broadening is something which is not desirable because it can cause overlap of the bands. If there are many components, then there may be overlap of bands due to zone broadening. The other factor which is responsible for the efficiency of a separation is the migration rates of the solutes. The mixture components, they are passing through the column and they will travel through the column at a different rate depending on the affinity for the stationary phase and the mobile phase. If a component of a mixture has got more affinity for the stationary phase, it will come out of the column later. Whereas if a component of a mixture has got less affinity for the stationary phase, it will come out first. Usually the mixture components or the solutes, they are separated according to their type. If you have got components which are hydrophobic or non-polar, they are separated using non-polar stationary phase. Whereas if you have got components of mixtures which are polar or hydrophilic, they are separated using a polar or a polar stationary phase. The mobile phase is usually the opposite. So if you are using a stationary phase which is non-polar, the mobile phase will be polar. And if you are using a stationary phase which is polar, then the mobile phase is non-polar. Migration rate affects the separation of the mixture. It is very obvious that each and every component of the mixture should have a different rate of migration. Otherwise, the separation will not happen, and some components may get separated. But if you are having components which are having similar migration rates, they will not be separated. The effectiveness of a chromatographic separation thus depends on the relative rate of migration, and these depends on how the solute distribute themselves between the mobile phase and the stationary phase. Now, to determine the value of the uh, uh, to to understand quantitative way of the affinity for the stationary phase, there is a term which is called distribution constant. Now, a solute species, suppose you are having a component A in the mixture, it will distribute between the stationary phase and the mobile phase. Uh, the distribution constant or the partition constant or the partition coefficient or the equilibrium constant is given by the equation K is equal to Cs upon Cm. We have taken capital K. Cs is the concentration in the stationary phase after it has been deposited on the column, and the Cm is the concentration in the mobile phase. Obviously, if you are having a solute which has got more affinity for stationary phase, Cs will be more, and K value will be higher for a solute which has got more affinity for the stationary phase. If the solute has got more affinity for the stationary phase, K will be higher, and the time taken by the species to come out of the column will be more. Higher the K value, more the time taken by the solute to come out of the column. Now, the time taken by the solute to come out of the column is called the retention time. Here you have a chromatogram of a single component. Normally, in chromatography, we don't use single components. We have a mixture of multiple components. But for the sake of simplicity, I've shown here a single component chromatogram. If you are having multiple components, then you will have multiple peaks. In a single component separation, you will find that you are getting a peak after a time t, a tr. Now that is the time taken by the single component to come out of the column. Besides this, on the left you can see a small peak. Now that is the time taken by the mobile phase to come out of the column. It's very obvious that even if you are having a solute which has got absolutely no affinity for the stationary phase, or if you consider the mobile phase, for the mobile phase to travel through the column and come out of it, it will take some time. Also, a non-retained solute or a solute component which has got no affinity for the column will also take the same time to come out of the column as the mobile phase. So this Tm is the minimum time a solute has to travel through the column or the time taken by the mobile phase to travel through the column. Tm is obviously smaller than Tr. If you are having multiple components, then each component will have a different Tr value. So if you have got two components A and B, A will have a Tr value of Tra, B will have a retention time value of Trb. This retention time is used to calculate various terms, various factors in chromatography. So Tr is the time taken by the solute to elute through the column. Tm is the time taken by an unretained solute or mobile phase to pass through the column. Now another factor which is important in chromatography is retention factor. We have seen distribution constant as capital K, whereas retention factor is small k, represented by small k or sometimes by k dash. The distribution constant determines the time taken by the solute to travel through the column. Similarly, retention factor also is similar to that. The higher the retention factor, small k, greater will be the time taken by the solute to come out of the column. The retention factor is an important experimental quantity widely used to compare the migration rates of solutes in column. The reason it is so important or so useful is that it does not depend on the column geometry or on the volumetric flow rate. You are passing the mobile phase at a certain flow rate, but K dash, the retention factor doesn't depend on that. This means for a given combination of a solute mobile phase and a stationary phase, any column of any geometry operated at any mobile phase flow rate will give the same retention factor. So for a solute A, the retention factor is given by Ka, that is the small k, is equal to big K, that is the distribution constant, multiplied by Vs upon Vm. Now what is this Vs and Vm? Small k is the retention factor of the solute A, big K is the distribution constant, Vs is the volume of the stationary phase on the column. The column has got some stationary phase and that stationary phase has got some volume. So Vs is the volume of that stationary phase. Vm is the volume of the stationary phase, Vm is the volume of the mobile phase required to elute the solute through the column. In fact, it is nothing but the retention volume. We have seen that Tr is the retention time. If you multiply by the flow rate, if the flow rate is constant, you'll get retention volume. So that retention volume is nothing but your Vm. Obviously, if you are having a different flow rate throughout the elution, then you have to calculate Vm by some other way. So the retention factor is determined by the equation Ka into Vs upon Vm, right? Now, if you want to find out the retention factor using the retention time, then the equation for this is, for that is small ka is equal to Tr minus Tm upon Tm. Now we have seen that Tr is the retention time of the solute, Tm is the retention time of the mobile phase, and small ka is the retention factor. So this is the retention factor. You have got two equations. Ka is equal to Tr minus Tm upon Tm, or your retention factor is Ka is equal to big Ka into Vs upon Vm. Any of the equations can be used. Now what is the significance of this retention factor? Retention factor has to be not very high and not very low. What will happen if the retention factor is very low? When K value is less than 1, the elution is rapid and the accurate determination of the Tr is difficult. Now if the time taken, if the retention factor is very less, then the solute comes out of the column very fast, and in that case to determine the Tr value will be difficult and the separations are not very good. However, if you are having retention factor values which are more than 20 to 30, then the elution time becomes very large and the time taken to complete the separation will be very large, and if you have to do number of analysis or number of separations, then you won't have time for that. So it's very obvious that you cannot have a very high K value, a very high retention factor value. It should not be greater than 20 to 30. It becomes, elution times become very large and you have to take more time to finish the separation. The ideal K value for solutes in a mixture should be between 2 to 10. Another term which is important in the chromatographic separation is what is called as the selectivity factor. Selectivity factor is the ratio of the distribution constants of two solutes, or the ratio of the ratio of the retention factor of two solutes. If you have got two components in a mixture and you want to separate them, then obviously the selectivity factor, their distribution constants or the retention factors must be different. If the retention factors or the distribution constants are different, are same, then they will not separate. So this selectivity factor tells you what are the chances of getting a good separation or not. Now selectivity factor, I've written here alpha is equal to Kb by Ka, where I'm talking of the bigger K, that is the distribution constant, and alpha is equal to K upon Kb upon Ka, that is the retention factor of B upon retention factor of A. In this equation, you have to put the higher value in the denominator. By default or by the definition, the selectivity factor, the retention factor of the second component, or the retention factor of the component which is having a higher K value should be put on the numerator. So it's obvious that if the K values are different, the alpha value will be more than 1. You can also calculate the selectivity factor using the retention times. Alpha value for our components B and A is TRB minus TM upon TRA minus TM. You can have alpha values for various components. If you have got three components, say A, B and C, you can have alpha AB, you can have alpha BC, you can have alpha AC. So selectivity factor of pairs of components you can have. Solute B in this case should have a higher K value or small k value or higher TR value. Otherwise the alpha value will turn out to be less than 1, and you cannot determine the selectivity you cannot judge the selectivity factor if the alpha value is if the alpha value is less than 1. Now what is the significance of the selectivity factor? Alpha value by definition should always be greater than 1, because we are taking the k values greater than the higher k values we are taking in the numerator. So alpha value will turn out to be greater than 1. Higher the alpha value, better is the separation of the two solutes. And you should create conditions during the separation so that the alpha values alpha value it comes out to be greater than 1 for two components. Ideally, alpha value must be at least 1.2 for a good separation. If you are having alpha value more than 1.2 or more, then the two peaks are well separated, provided the zone broadening is not high. So this is what we have studied today: the retention time, the distribution constant, the retention time, then we have seen the retention factor, the significance of retention factor, then we have seen the selectivity factor alpha and the significance of selectivity factor. So we have covered the rate of migration, both the selectivity factor and retention factor and retention time and all these three terms. They are pertaining to the rate of migrations. So you have to see that the rate of migrations of different components are different for a good separation. Now we'll continue in the next lecture, the next part. Thank you.